Okay, hello, Claudia, we saw you.
Hi.
So I think that we
Hello, Claudia. No.
we were reading when Andres and the other man were waiting for, to be received, and this Marty, this French general, appeared. But I
Yes.
don't know the line. If you tell,
I know the last paragraph
yes,
said the beginning was the dispatch to.
Yes.
Do not worry.
yes.
We arrived just at
That part, okay.
the end of this paragraph.
Because
Yes,
the
I
man,
understand him now.
yes, because remember that the man who came at this moment was this Marty. I sent you the information about him, not this week, last week. This Marty was rather mad. He he killed a lot of people, but not during the battle. He killed a lot of people because he considered them traitors. So
Yes.
he was called
He loves kill people.
yes, he was called the butcher, no?
Yes.
Wow. So that's why the man there says, the dispatch too, do not worry, comrade. We know how to deal with this crazy. He is only dangerous with his own people. We understand him now. And so André Martí says, bring in the two prisoners. So they take...
But
Andrés,
it's a comic because the caporal said, ¿queréis echar un trago al prisionero?
sí. No, this scene is completely crazy.
Yes, completely.
Yes.
And I
Se lo
think,
llevan a la celda, pero le dan alcohol.
sí. No. And I think that this is a kind of comic, let's say, interregnum.
Yes.
Before
Yes,
the last chapter, no? Before the tragedy.
Yes.
Like in Shakespeare's tragedies, when we have the clown, the fool doing something funny, and then the final tragedy, no? So the corporal took
the calm before the storm.
Claro,
yes.
Exactly. The corporal took a bottle of anise from a cupboard, and both Gomez and Andres drank. So did the corporal. He wiped his mouth on his hand. Vámonos. So they go, and Martí says, skip the paragraph, stand there. Martí said without looking up. Gomez is very funny. For me, Gomez is a great character in a very small
yes.
percentage of the whole novel, no? Because he speaks his mind. He says what he wants to say, no? Listen, Comrade Martí. Once tonight we have been impeded by the ignorance of the anarchists, then by the sloth of the bureaucratic fascists, now by the over-suspicion of a communist. Este es muy divertido.
Es genial, es genial.
Es genial, because this is what really happened. Close your mouth, Martí said without looking up. This is not a meeting. Comrade Martí, this is a matter of the utmost urgency, Gomez said, of the greatest importance. The corporal and the soldier with them were taking a lively interest in this, as though they were at a play they had seen many times, but whose excellent moments they could always savor. Now, the others were watching the situation.
They knew what he was like, so they were...
Everything is of urgency. All things are of importance. Now he looked up at them holding the pencil. How did you know Gold was here? Do you understand how serious it is to come asking for an individual general before an attack? How could you know such a general would be here? Tell him too, Gomez said to Andrés. Comrade General, ¿no? Lo llama de cualquier manera ya. I was given that package on the other side of the lines. On the other side of the lines? Yes, I heard him say you came from the fascist lines. It was given to me, Comrade General, by an Inglés named Roberto, who had come to us as a dynamiter for this of the bridge. Understandeth? Continue thy story. Well, Comrade General, the Inglés told me to bring it to the General Goals with all speed. He makes an attack in these hills now on this day, and all we ask is to take it to him now promptly, if it pleases the Comrade General. Marty shook his head again. He was looking at Andres, but he was not seeing him. And now, in the next paragraph, we get an impression of all what is happening in his mind, because this man is really mad. I mean, the way Hemingway pictures him, no? Because he was thinking of goals. He thought in a mixture of horror and exultation, as a man might feel hearing that a business enemy had been killed in a particularly nasty motor accident, or that someone you hated, but whose probity you had never doubted had been guilty of defalcation. That goal should be one of them too. That goal should be in such obvious communication with the fascists. So he starts suspecting of goals, but in his imagination, no? Goals that he had
Maybe he's a little paranoid, no?
For me, he's crazy. For me,
Yes.
he's completely crazy.
Yes.
Goals who had captured the gold train that winter with Lukács in Siberia. Goals who had fought against Kolchak and in Poland, in the Caucasus, in China, and here since the 1st October. But he had been close to Tukhachevsky. Tukhachevsky, we spoke about Tukhachevsky some time ago. You remember that Stalin's killed him, accused him of traitor.
Yes.
Yes. To Voroshilov, yes, too, but to Tukhachevsky. And to who else? Here to Kharkov, of course. Kharkov was the journalist, the Russian journalist. And to Lukács, but all the Hungarians had been intriguers. He hated Gol. Gols hated Gol. Remember that. Make a note of that. You see, his mind, he's doubting and he's suspicious of everybody. Yes, and he makes a list of all the traitors and the non-traitors. So at the end of that paragraph, he says, he knew that you could trust no one, ever, not your wife, not your brother, not your oldest comrade, no one, ever, no? So that's why you said, Alice, that he's a paranoid, no? Because he's, take them away, guard them carefully. So he's sending them again to prison. And Gomez again, Comrade Marty, do not be insane. Listen to me, a lawyer, officer, and comrade. This is a dispatch that must be delivered. This comrade has brought it through the fascist lines to give to Comrade General Gols. Take them away. So Andres looks at Gomez and says, you mean he's not going to send the dispatch? He asked, unbelieving. Don't you see? Me cago en su puta madre. Está loco. Andres is... yes, Gomez said, he's crazy, you're crazy, here crazy. Hear me, you crazy murderer. So Gomez is so funny because he shouts.
No, Gomez is genial.
Lo insulta, no? Take them away, Marty said to the guard. Their minds are unhinged by their great guilt. So you see, I don't know, he believes he is Macbeth. Something like that.
Yeah.
You crazy murderer, Gomez shouted. Hijo de la gran puta, Andres said to him. Loco. The stupidity of this man angered him. If he was crazy, let him be removed as a crazy. Let the dispatch be taken from his pocket. God damn this crazy to hell. His heavy Spanish anger was rising out of his usual calm and good temper. In a little while, it would blind him. Marty, looking at his map, shook his head sadly as the guards took Gomez and Andres out. The guards had enjoyed hearing him cursed, but on the whole, they had been disappointed in the performance. They had seen much better ones. The guards enjoyed the party, no? So, André Marty did not mind the men cursing him. So many men had cursed him at the end. He was always genuinely sorry for them as human beings. He always told himself that, and it was one of the last true ideas that was left to him that had ever been his own. You see, Hemingway is picturing him as completely crazy.
Yes.
He sat there, his mustache and his eyes focused on the map that he never truly understood.
This is funny what comes now. It's terrible.
Terrible, because Marty is the one who supposedly is going to lead the attack, and he looks at the map and he doesn't understand the map.
No.
He could see the heights and the valleys, no? But he never really understood why it should be this height and why this valley was the one. But at the general staff, where because of the system of political commissars, he could intervene as the political head of the brigades. He would put his finger on such and such a numbered, a brown thin lines in circle spot among the green of woods cut by the lines of the road that parallel the never casual winding of a river, and say, there, that is the point of weakness. So he simply pointed at a place in the map, but he cannot understand anything, no? Well, then later on in the next paragraph, the paragraph that says Goll and Coppic, no? In the middle of that paragraph says, but when Marty put his finger on the map, in Goll's staff, found the sentence?
Yes.
When Marty put his finger on the map in Goll's staff, in the scar-headed, white-faced general's jaw muscles would tighten, and he would think, I would shoot you, Andre Marty, before I let you put that gray, rotten finger on a contour map of mine. Damn you to hell for all the men you've killed by interfering in matters you know nothing of. Damn the day they named tractor factories and villages and cooperatives for you, so that you are a symbol that I cannot touch. Go and suspect the exhort and intervene and denounce and butcher some other place and leave my staff alone. So,
Wow.
because what Marty did was really serious. Now, in the past, he was, he was very important. He did a great work, and that's why so many things were named after him. No, because he had been a great, a great general, a great communist. But now he's mad. And so he points at a place and he destroys the place. And he has sent a lot of men to their death because of this. So Goltz is very angry at Marty, but he couldn't do anything because Marty is so famous, so important. Well, so instead of saying that Goltz would only lean back from the leaning bulk, the pushing finger, the watery gray eyes, the gray white mustache, and the bad breath, and say, yes, Comrade Marty, I see your point. So Goltz, instead of insulting him, he treats him as if he were mad, because he's mad, and says, okay, I see what you mean, ¿no? Bien como a los locos, está bien, ¿no? In the next paragraph, the paragraph that starts, so now Andre Marty sat working.
Yeah.
In the middle of the paragraph, it says, in his mind, he was commanding troops. Found this?
Yes.
He had the right to interfere, and this he believed to constitute command. So he sat there with Robert Jordan's dispatch to Goltz in his pocket, and Gomez and Andres waited in the guard room, and Robert Jordan lay in the woods above the bridge. So this man, who is crazy, is responsible for Robert Jordan's future, because his dispatch is in his pocket, and he's doing nothing. So the importance of this, we laugh at him because he's mad and he said very ridiculous things. But the future of Jordan and the other, people is in the hands of this mad person who has the letter in his pocket.
Yeah.
So In the next paragraph, it is doubtful if the outcome of Andres' mission would have been different if he and Gomez had been allowed to proceed without Andre Marti's hindrance. There was no one at the front with sufficient authority to cancel the attack. So the problem is this one, no? That the attack cannot be canceled.
It's more complex, yes.
The machinery had been in motion much too long for it to be stopped suddenly now. There is a great inertia about all military operations of any size. But once this inertia has been overcome and movement is underway, they are almost as hard to arrest as to initiate. And you remember that when Andres was going on the motorbike with Gomez, no, to meet Gols, they saw all the trucks with the soldiers and the weapons going in the opposite direction. So
in the opposite way, yes.
The attack has already been launched, no? Well, so finally, Gols appears. No, sorry, no Gols, Kharkov appears, the journalist. And they tell him what is happening. So Kharkov approaches Marty and asks him about the dispatch. And so he says in, some paragraphs later, wait a second, it is better not to get facts wrong in Pravda, Marty said. And then at the end of that paragraph, there is an American comrade. I don't know if you found the paragraph. It is better not to get facts
wrong. What's the beginning?
It is better not to get facts wrong in Pravda, Marty said.
Yes.
And then at the end of that, it says, this is Kharkov, speaking. At the end, it says, there is an American comrade there named Jordan that we should have heard from. There have been reports of fighting there behind the fascist lines. He would have sent a message through to Gols. An American, Marty asked. Andres had said an Inglés. So that is what it was. So he had been mistaken. Why had those fools spoken to him anyway? So instead of thinking that he made a mistake, he blames Andres and Gomez, no?
Yes, because they say that the Inglés and he's
no,
American.
And because they spoke to him, the two men didn't speak to him. He called them. Yes, Kharkov looked at him contemptuously. Kharkov also hates Marty.
Despises. No,
yes.
He despises.
He despises him, but he cannot show it, no? A young America of slight political development, but a great way with the Spaniards and a fine partisan record. Just give me the dispatch, Comrade Marty. It has been delayed enough. What dispatch? No, you see?
Oh, no.
And the safe conduct pass, Kharkov said, through his bad teeth. Andre Marty put his hand in his pocket and laid the dispatch on the table. He looked Kharkov squarely in the eye. All right, he was wrong, and there was nothing he could do about it now, but he was not accepting any humiliation. And the safe conduct pass, Kharkov said softly. Marty laid it beside the dispatch. Comrade corporals, Kharkov called in Spanish. The corporal opened the door and came in. He looked quickly at Andre Marty, who stared back at him like an old boar which has been brought to bay by hounds. There was no fear on Marty's face and no humiliation. He was only angry, and he was only temporarily at bay. He knew these dogs could never hold him. Take these two comrades in the guard. When it finishes, we come back immediately to the same link.
Yes.
He knew these dogs could never hold him.
Okay.
Take these to the two comrades in the guard room and direct them to General Gols's headquarters. There has been too much delay. The corporal went out and Marty looked after him, then looked at Kharkov. Tovarich Marty, Kharkov said, I am going to find out just how untouchable you are. So now
Wow.
Kharkov is threatening him, no?
Yes.
Marty looked straight at him and said nothing. Don't start to have any plans about the corporal either. It was not the corporal. I saw the two men in the guard room and they spoke to me. This was a lie. I hope all men always will speak to me. This was the truth, although it was the corporal who had spoken. But Kharkov had this belief in the good which could come from his own accessibility and the humanizing possibility of benevolent intervention. It was the one thing he was never cynical about. And when Hemingway describes Kharkov, this journalist, you remember we talked about him a lot.
Yes,
He's
before.
always, Hemingway is always very kind about him. He appreciates him very much, no?